Welcome back. Thank you for supporting the channel again. Jumping into our third educational piece. We talked about weights, how to pick them. We talked about reps, make sure we're within the right range to hit our goals. Now we're going to jump in and we're going to obviously break down sets, kind of that last piece of the trifecta. Sets times reps times weights give us total tonnage, helps us track if we're making progress over time from a holistic approach. So as we look to jump in today, like, subscribe, support the channel, continue to support more training of everyone. That's what we're trying to do here is help. So support please, and obviously let's jump in. Let's talk sets. To keep things basic and just get things started, we're going to jump into the NSCA, National Strength and Conditioning Association's guidelines here for sets. Now, as we're looking to get into this, we're looking at strength, right? Strength is typically going to be in that 2 to 6 per exercise set range. Now, those are going to be heavy loads. Then we're going to jump into hypertrophy. Hypertrophy is typically going to be that 3 to 6 set range. Moderate to heavy loads, obviously that intensity being just a little bit less because the volume's a little bit higher. And then that endurance, we're looking 2 to 3 sets, lighter load, higher reps, typically a shorter recovery period. Recovery periods, though, we will jump into in the near future here in another video to really try to break those down and hammer home some really good ideals into how we want to break that up. Now, if we're looking at the evidence, we're looking at what some research has put out more recently. In 2021, Ralston et al. Put out some research that was saying that strength gains are more driven by intensity, which we know, right? Intensity is going to be the sweet indicator there of our adaptation, but the sweet spot being 10 to 20 hard sets per muscle group is going to be the best for strength training per week. Then we look at another study for hypertrophy-driven results. Schoenfeld et al. Put out that 10 plus weekly sets is typically going to be greater than like 5 sets per muscle group for growth. There's another study that put out that 15 to 20 sets per week, looking at greater gains, but the practical target here, 3 to 6 per exercise, typically 10 to 20 weekly sets per muscle group. And again, that'll be another video where we can break down how you're going to kind of set up your week. Endurance, we're looking at a study that talked about endurance being higher total weekly sets and short rest. We're aiming to 15-25 weekly sets per muscle group. Obviously, that load being significantly lighter, allowing us to kind of push those recovery periods as well to be a little bit shorter. Now, one of the biggest things to remember here is that we are looking at this from a holistic viewpoint, right? It's not just about the sets. It's not just about the reps. Check out that other video. It's not just about what weight you're picking. It's a combination of all three and how that is changing over time, how you're making sure that it has progressive overload over time. So make sure you're staying tuned, but watch those old videos if you haven't seen them yet. What are some of the practical signs that, number one, you're hitting the right amount of sets for where you're at? Well, obviously, too many sets, you're gonna feel overwhelmed. You're gonna feel fatigued. You're gonna feel sore all the time. That's not necessarily a good thing. There are things called overreaching. There are things called overtraining. We can plan overreaching periods. Those are obviously going to be good for us. They're gonna challenge our stimulus. They're gonna get us pushing forward, but you wanna do those planned and you wanna do those sparingly throughout your training cycle. Overtraining is a bad thing. You're going to start seeing bad adaptations to that. It's very hard to overtrain, but again, we're not trying to push sets too early just to push sets too early. As a beginner, you're going to be able to get away with less sets and still see massive improvements in your progression. As you advance your training age into more time spent, right? 0 to 1 year, you're going to see bigger gains with 2 to 3 sets. Then all of a sudden, you're in year 2. From year 1 to year 2, you're going to need 3 sets. You're going to need 4 sets. You start getting along a little further, you might need that 5th set, that 6th set on the day on an exercise to kind of push your adaptations a little bit further. But again, intensity of the weight's going to matter, duration of the set, of the recovery time is going to matter, and then obviously the rep ranges that we're picking are going to matter. So we got to think of this as an all-encompassing thing, not just paying attention to one of these at a time. This is just kind of layering our base ideas out there. Okay, so as we're wrapping this up, we just want to reiterate that the sets are going to be your volume dial, right? You can do 10 reps, but 3 sets of 10 looks different than 4 sets of 10 looks different than 5 sets of 10 in terms of the training total volume. So like, it's just gonna be one of those numbers that's gonna help us standardize and help us elevate our volume over time. The biggest thing is gonna be making sure that you are hitting the volume that you want to hit, and then you're bringing that intensity behind the scenes and the weights that you're picking and the reps that you're doing to make sure you're getting that adaptation that you want. And with that, we've covered weights, we've covered reps, and now we've covered sets. So you have a great template to start building some programs off of to understand where your training stimulus is and where it's going to go. If you're looking for some more advanced knowledge of these, make sure you comment advanced progressions, comment something in the chat. make sure you let me know that, hey, this is a topic that I'm very interested in. I want more in-depth information on it soon. Otherwise, we will kind of plan on getting that to you here in the near future. Stay on the lookout. We do have one more video coming here shortly. We are going to talk about rest times between sets, something that doesn't get talked about enough, something that does matter in terms of what kind of adaptation you're going to get, the hormone releases you're going to get, and all these different aspects that are going to affect the stimulus that gets applied to you from the session. So we'll dive into that next. Make sure you subscribe, like, comment, stay tuned. Cannot wait to see you there. Never settle with yesterday, and let's keep learning and let's keep growing.